Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Star Wars Ultimate Unlimited, and today, I'm actually recording this at night, but I'm also recording this again about the potential of nerfing Boba Fett in some way, shape, or form. Just saw a video explaining the quote-unquote Boba Fett problem, in which there were 3 leaders that went by the pass in terms of new sets. If they are good, if they have good cards, slot them into the existing decks. For example, Boba Fett, and I believe it was called Now There Are Two of Them, which is a pretty good card and it's on itself. Is that really the case? Is that card going to be meta-defining? Who knows? No one really knows right now. I know there's a lot of cards in set 2 that said, oh, this was going to be meta-defining, and then clearly it really wasn't. I think, you still have, Poe Dameron, you still have Crate Dragon as really big, big things. Darksaber as well, that were pretty good in terms of saying, hey, these cards are going to be sticking around for a little bit. But I do want to talk about Boba Fett. I see a lot of people explaining, hey, we want this guy nerfed, we want him banned. And just want to give you guys a couple of insights here. Number one, I don't think Fantasy Flight wants to ever ban a card. Banning a card is completely, I think, out of the realm of possibility. It's something you don't want to do in a card game to restrict your own cards. For example, if I look at what Yu-Gi-Oh! Has become, I played it back in the Blue Eyes days, and, you had, what was it, 3 Swords of Revealing Lights, you had 3 Raigekis, pot of greeds everywhere, until there was a ban list for it, a ban restrict list, and, you were able to still play them. However, there are cards that were also just outright banned, and you couldn't play anymore. Even though you spend, so much money on it, it's banned. It's done for. And it sucked when Change of Heart was banned into Oblivion until it recently came back, about a few years ago. So that was nice to see, but, unfortunately the damage has been done. And as you can see, I think that banning Boba Fett or banning Sabine or banning Nuhan is just not the way to go. There will be, I believe, nerfs. And if nerfs are not even the issue, I think that this would have to be addressed in set 3, possibly set 4. Now, everyone kind of knows card games have, a ban restrict list. I think there's 2 games, I'm not too sure, or maybe even more games out there that don't have a ban list. One that comes to my mind is WWE Raw Deal. Raw Deal is a wrestling card game, and I remember it had a card, I think it was called, oh god, what it was called. I think it was called It's All About the Game. And basically what that did is we have a pre-match deck, which is kind of like a early sideboard kind of thing, if you can say that, and it granted us different abilities, drawing cards, doing, manipulative things to our decks to better our chances of having a good opening hand or winning the game or whatever. And All About the Game basically states that once it's played, your opponent cannot play any more pre-match cards after that. So once it hits a certain spot, that's it, you're done. So that completely destroys the whole point of this is that they saw this card as a threat to the game. It was toxic, it was terrible, it was crap, it sucked because every deck ran it. What the creator did in the next set was release a card called I Want to Play the Game. So I Want to Play the Game basically is a feud card, and the feud card happens before the pre-match hits or the beginning of the regular pre-match cards. So basically you would search your opponent's pre-match deck of sorts, or Backlash in this case, and you would choose a card that was a non-unique card, which is, of course, probably going to be It's All About the Game, and they discard it. It's a very simple yet effective way to get rid of that card and to cause a lot of relief amongst players of the game. It's All About the Game really rarely wasn't played, except for maybe a couple of decks, but other than that, a lot of people sideboarded in I Want to Play the Game. And it wasn't banned, it wasn't eroded, it wasn't anything. It was still in the game, and it just was gone within a set. So, looking at set 3, I know not a lot of the cards are out yet. Could there be a possibility, albeit maybe a little slim, of seeing a Boba Fett nerf somewhere? And the only way to nerf it, there's a couple ways to go about it. Number one, of course, release really powerful cards that are not called cunning. So you make a meta based around new cards, and you give power to newer archetypes, or archetypes itself, such as heroism can deal with it. Maybe aggression can deal with it a little bit better in terms of that. Like if there's a leader on the board, you just do like +2 damage to it, and it only affects the leader. It doesn't affect the base or anything. You could do something like that. But, honestly, a lot of people are going to say power creep, power creep, power creep, and eventually power creep will hit Boba in a way. But avoiding power creep is also a good thing too. So it's a tricky situation to put it in. I've fought Bobas. I have beaten Bobas. Both Boba Yellow, Boba Green, Boba Blue. You don't see Boba Blue that much. But it is defeatable if they have a bad hand, of course, and if you have a really good god hand in your possession. So here are some ideas I had for quote-unquote nerfing Boba Fett. Number one would be, of course, make him a 6 cost. Like a lot of people in the community really agree with this. Making Boba Fett collecting the bounty a 6 cost, like his Daimo counterpart, would be pretty good. An extra turn, it'd be absolutely fine. He's a 4/7 on epic action turn, and he's at a 5. So making him a 6, totally fine. I think that's the better move to go about. You don't have to, errata his ability. You don't have to errata anything else. 4/7, 6 cost, pretty good. Number 2, reduce his health down. So keep him a 5. Reduce his health down maybe by 2. Make him a 4/5. There's a reason why. We'll get back to that in a second. And of course, if they really want to just nerf him to oblivion, make him a 6 cost and reduce his health, which I don't think that's going to be. That's terrible. It's horrible. You don't want to do that, and a lot of people, maybe still play him because of the ability of, readying a resource and then flipping him over and then readying 2 resources, and then you have multiple ways to bounce stuff back to your opponent's hand or defeat stuff. So, in that would be more of a combo piece, and then you just get into your tempo. But what do I know? I'm not a card game creator. God forbid if I am. So going back to what we're talking about, there's also a couple of support cards for Boba too. In the lesser one is, of course, the Fire Spray. The Fire Spray comes in ready, attacks for 5 damage. Of course, if you play New Adventure, just bounce it back for free, and bounce it back, play it for free again. So do 5, bounce it back, play another 5. It's 10 damage right there. It's pretty nasty. If you don't have anything in the space area, of course. If you do, then okay, fine. And of course, there's Boba Fett's armor, which gives him a +2 attack and +2 health. This is where the -2 health on Boba Fett comes into play. Making him a 4/5 is fine, because then you can play the Boba Fett armor, and there you go. You have his 7 health back. Now, the thing is that does the Boba Fett armor need a nerf too? Yes, it reduces damage by 2, and you get a +2/+2 essentially. My nerf on that card is to keep everything the way it is. However, get rid of the 2 attack, and you're fine. It's armor. If people really want it to play additional damage, just play Jetpack. Get a shield token, play Jetpack. It's more thematic. It's damage. It's a +2/+0. I'm surprised that doesn't have any armor on it, but I guess Fantasy Flight didn't really see that. Another card that would need the nerf, Sabine Wren. The only way I can see Sabine being nerfed is by just destroying her health. That's the only way. Keep her at 3. Keep the ability. Once again, keep the ability. Just reduce her health. Make her an open fire target. Make her 4 health. Make her very fragile. Because on turn 3, and I've done this plenty of times, and I'm pretty sure you have too, when you throw down Sabine on the field on 4, you get to play 4 of your resources and play a Darksaber. Of course, another 4-3 is absolutely nuts. She's got plenty of health. She'll have 7 health, and she'll attack for 7, basically. That's the way I see it. As far as Nuhan is concerned, Nuhan, I don't think there really necessarily is a way to go around it, per se, because it's such a very universal ability. You can say it can do 3 damage to a unit instead of 2 damage. It'll still make Karabast a very powerful card still. It'll do 4 damage to anything, but, you know, I mean, that's still up in the fence on how to fix it. Deploy cost is not that bad, so I'm not really worried about it, and he's low statted here. What was he, like 3 health, I think? Or no, he's 3 attack and 6 health, I think it was. Yeah, he's a 3/6 on a 5 deploy. The 5 deploy is whatever. I don't really mind that. And you can probably deal with it pretty easily. There's a lot of cards at 5 that really do take him out fast. So you can do that. But yeah, like I said, those are my fixes for the cards. And of course, a little bit of nerfing to Boba Fett's armor, I think, would be very, very wise of them to do. So that's my rambling video here on how to fix these units and other thoughts as well. We'd love to hear your opinions, your comments. Thumbs up the video, subscribe to this channel for more interesting talk on Star Wars Unlimited. I love this game a lot. And hopefully we'll see if they do something about it. Take care, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you on the next video.